Hey everyone, welcome. This video, sorry about that. In this video, I'll just be going over Bullseye and how to have some situational awareness with air to air, okay, before we get into the actual engagement. So hopefully this will be short, just about the Bullseye, and get you up to speed on that. Okay, so what the bullseye is a position, arbitrary position uh, in space that basically all calls are referenced from. Okay, so anything in the battle space here is going to have a bullseye call to it. Okay, so like if, for instance, I have these two contacts ahead of me, they are enemy, but uh, I'll just call AWACS.
Chalice, 1 Cowboy, 1-1, request picture.
So you can see here.
Cowboy, 1-1, Chalice, 1, picture is multiple groups. Nearest hostile, Bullseye, 250, 35 miles, 18,000.
Okay, so 250, 35 miles, 18,000. Okay, so what is that? That's called a BRA call, or BRA, meaning bearing, range, and altitude, okay? So bearing is the bearing relative to the bullseye, or the bearing from the bullseye. So imagine you're standing at bullseye and you get the BRA call. You could just turn to, what did he say? It was 250-036. So you could turn facing, say you had a compass and turn to the azimuth 250, and they would be 36 miles away. Okay, so that's how it works. So if you imagine, and you can see the bullseye here on your HSD, it looks like a bullseye. Okay, and then to get the north is up here about 2 o'clock off my nose. So north is up this way relative to the bullseye. South is this way. West is this way, and east is this way. Okay, so uh, so relative to the bullseye, they're they're west of the bullseye about 36 miles. Okay, so if you just have in your mind, okay, so from the bullseye 248, that's more west than anything. So west at 36 miles. Okay, so that gives you a general idea in your mind uh, where that call is. Okay, so and then the second piece of this is your own bra or your own bullseye or your position relative to the bullseye, and that is on your three places. So it is a fairly important number. So it's pretty much everywhere that you're looking. It's on your HUD right here. So 182 for 23. Okay, so I'm bearing 182 from the bullseye, 23 nautical miles. Okay, that's also in the bottom left-hand corner of both of your MFDs right here. So the top number is your that is your distance, okay, and the bottom number is your bearing, okay, and the same thing is over here on your left MFD, okay, and this is in air-to-air mode, by the way. But so you see, it is your own position can tell you uh, quite a bit about where you are relative to the enemy. So I know where the bullseye is. It's right there. I'm south of bullseye. He's east of bullseye, so I need to go east. Okay. I know he's at 18,000, so I have where he is vertically. Okay, and I know where he is horizontally based off of the relative position to the bullseye. Okay, so that's the basic idea behind bullseye. Now there is a way, like if you're far from the bullseye, if you start getting bullseye calls where you're 100, 200 miles out, you probably won't be able to see the bullseye on your HSD. Okay, and so again, once you get used to the BRA calls, you will be able to understand your relative position to the bullseye and where that enemy is. But for now, starting out, what you can do is use your sensors here, especially your HSD, to figure out where exactly they are. Right now, the enemy's in front of us, so we have them on the FCR. We know exactly where they're at. But so uh, just a hypothetical here. So imagine you're flying along and you get a BRA call from AWACS, and you don't see the enemy anywhere on your FCR, and you're not really sure where that bullseye position is. Okay, so there's a few ways to figure that out. The first way that I use is I set this HSD to center my aircraft there. Okay, then I select the HSD using DMS right. Okay, sorry, DMS right will switch to the HSD page, and then DMS down will set your sensor of interest as the HSD. Okay, and DMS down will switch between both of your MFDs. Okay, now using the slew, you can see this cross here that comes out, and you can see this number changing. Okay, this number looks really familiar now. So that is the bullseye position, or the position of your crosshairs relative to bullseye. Okay, so let's just imagine we have a contact at 130070, and I can just slew this around until I hit that marker there. Okay, so say 030 sorry 130070. So I can just slew that around until I'm about in the range. So I know that target is close to this position because the 135068 is fairly close. So I know he's directly behind me. Okay, so you can do that in air, and then of course you'd immediately turn and engage if that's what you were meaning to do. The other thing you can do is let's go back to our FCR here. Okay. Now, these guys are at 18,000 feet. We heard the call. If I hold the cursor over them, we get the 18 below it. Okay. We know they're at 18,000 feet, right? So on this cursor here, your radar cursor, the top number is the top elevation, or the height, the top of your radar waves, essentially. Okay, the bottom one is going to be the bottom. Obviously, it's negative 13, so it's on the ground. These guys are at 18,000, so if I put the cursor next to them and tilt my radar down, they'll actually disappear. Or they should. Yep, there they go. So they fade. Okay, so they're faded. So now I can see here in the bottom left-hand corner the bullseye position of my radar cursor. And just so you know, over here, you can also see where your cursor is, okay, like relative to your steer points, and the bullseye of your radar cursor here, okay? So, again, we'll listen to this call.
Chalice 1, Cowboy 1-1, request picture.
250 for 35.
1-1, Chalice. 1, picture is multiple groups. Nearest hostile, Bullseye. 250, 35 miles, 18,000.
Okay, so we know we're in the general range. We're a couple nautical miles off here, but we're in the general vicinity. So we'll just put this just for demonstration, just try to put it almost on them. Okay, but we know they're at 18,000 now, so we see that the top of our radar is looking at on the ground, essentially. So we can use our radar tilt to come up. Okay, now we get them. So it's between 34,000 feet and the ground. Okay, so now we can see that the enemy is there. Okay, so we can use that bullseye position for any calls, even ground targets. Okay, so just you have, let's say that you're flying along and you overfly the target, and your other flight members are wondering where you're at or where the enemy's at. Well, you can just call out your bullseye. Okay, then they can do what I showed you before. They can just go to their HSD, look for the relative bullseye position using their cursor here, and fly to that point. Okay, so that's generally how you would use the bullseye. So remember, bullseye is essentially the center of a compass rose. Okay, And the first three numbers they're going to give you are the relative direction from the bullseye. And then the second three numbers are going to be the distance. Then, of course, they're going to give you the altitude in feet. Okay? So that's essentially it on bullseye position. Next video, we'll actually engage these guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.